President Tinubu urges fair pricing as CNG rollout intensifies nationwide. Osun State government declares Friday public holiday as INEC briefs observers ahead of Saturday's governorship poll. Also tonight, federal government rolls out taxpayer bill of rights and zonal hubs to advance Nigeria's tax reforms. Good evening and welcome to Network News. I am Juma Yusuf. Tonight, Adeola Kamiakere will be joining me from Lagos. I should be bringing us news from that axis. And also tonight, Terwase Igbayama with the sports news. Remember, you can follow this newscast live on any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. And just before we take our first report, let's talk a bit about tonight's NTA survey. Now, as you well know, Nigeria is already in the thick of another election season. With the Osun governorship poll on hand and preparations underway for the 2027 general elections, with voter apathy identified as one of the major challenges confronting our democratic development, it is the belief that adequate voter education could engender increased participation, further strengthening the democratic process. The debate over who bears the most responsibility for voter education therefore comes at this critical moment. Tonight, we're asking Nigerians a fundamental question. Who do you think should bear the most responsibility for voter education in Nigeria? Well, that's the question for tonight, and as usual, we expect you to scan the QR code, follow the prompt displayed on the screen, and vote to be part of the conversation. Let's get the news with it. We'll begin with President Bola Tinubu's appeal to commercial motorists and other frontline beneficiaries of the compressed natural gas CNG initiative, where he urged them to do their bit to allow the benefit of the CNG scheme trickle down to the masses, even as his government continues to improve on the initiative. The president made the appeal when he addressed the leadership of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, who paid a courtesy visit on him. State House correspondent Musbau Danwahab tells us more.
These are the newly elected leaders of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG. They control a major interest group in the distribution of petroleum products across the country. And President Tinubu has enjoyed a long-standing relationship with the union of that much importance in the petroleum sector value chain. But the new leadership leveraged the familiarization visit to appraise the renewed hope agenda, benefits of the administration's reforms, particularly the subsidy removal, CNG initiative, and others which they described as forward-thinking strategies. As major beneficiaries, they commended the ongoing roads construction across the country.
We have seen real progress in the rehabilitation of federal highways, making journeys smooth and safer for our tanker drivers country. Yes. Before, it took you like 5-6 hours from Lagos to Ibadan, where I base. But now, Lagos is under 1 hour. Thank you, sir.
But then, their major concerns now include how the public refineries and the 21 petroleum depots across the country will come back to life.
We want to humbly request that the same energy and drive to inject life back to refinery be extended to the decaying Nigeria Pipeline and Storage Company, NPSC, depot across the country. We strongly recommend they can be handed over to private investors to manage under equity arrangement.
Period of the altercation that we used to have between unions and government is gradually being closed. And we thank them for this recognition of the effort of Mr. President. And I want to assure you that Mr. President will continue to go in this direction so that the prosperity that all of us require as Nigerians that we are already seeing in the horizon will be arrived at.
Major wishes as they come, but apparently those concerns are on the to-do list of the president already.
The refineries that you mentioned is going to come back to work. We're just building a very firm reset and structural reworking of the economy of it. Ordinary flame and the smoke of refinery doesn't mean that it's working until it's profitable and yield the value for which it is built. I'm not a man who go looking back and everything, because I've accepted the asset and liability of my predecessor. No matter what has happened in the years past, it's my responsibility now as the president to fix it, make it work for the largest common value of our population. I take responsibility for that, and I'm going to do it.
But then, President Tinubu appealed to them and other beneficiaries of the CNG initiative to allow the benefits go round.
Compressed natural gas. Well, I will appeal to you. We will do more. We will encourage you. But ask your drivers to let it trickle to the commuters too. Because whatever benefit that is coming from CNG is going to in the pocket of truck owners. It's not spreading as fast as I would like it, but it should spread.
President Tinubu, who maintains that the masses are the core target of these reforms, promises to soon publish how the savings from subsidy removal are being utilized. From the State House, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
On other matters, the Presidential Working Group on the National Policing Bill has extended the deadline for submission of memoranda and position papers on the proposed legislation to Friday, August 21, 2026. A statement by the chairman of the working group and chief of staff to the president, Femi Gbajabiamila, says the extension is to give individuals, institutions and organizations more time to make substantive contributions to the proposed law. Submissions are expected from legal practitioners, civil society organizations, security professionals, state governments, academics, and other interested members of the public. All submissions must be made by 5 p.m. on August 21 through the official National Policing Bill portal, www.nationalpolicingbill.com. The working group says it will present a final draft of the bill for onward legislative processing at the end of its assignment. Now, the Information Minister and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has further clarified the rationale for the Office of Special Advisor to the President on Homeland Security. The minister says the office was created to strengthen collaboration amongst critical institutions in order to sustain ongoing successes in the fight against insecurity across the country. The minister, who received the presidential aide, Major General Adeyinka Fama-Dewa, earlier today in his office, says recent reforms in the nation's security architecture demonstrates the president's desire to ensure peace in Nigeria. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Nigeria is in a sustained battle against various forms of emerging insecurity. Upholding the tempo of successes against criminality and build a solid structure for effective public communication, authorities highlight key operational models of both kinetic and non-kinetic to promote intelligence-led policing, as revealed at this strategic visit.
We have 4 core priorities for now, and we build on those priorities. And number 1 is to increase and establish a unified national intelligence and surveillance program, and put in place measures to improve border security, because we all know that a lot of the problems we have are transnational. Some of these people, they move in and out our borders.
The importance of effective communication dissemination as a key instrument in asymmetric warfare made the Ministry of Information and National Orientation a first port of call by the Special Advisor to the President on Homeland Security and his team.
No development that can ever happen if there is no peace. Peace and security are essential elements. In fact, they are the building blocks of any development that can happen anywhere. The president has promised Nigerians that there will be prosperity for all Nigerians as a result of some of these policies that he has put in place. We are now beginning to see in those reforms, those building blocks now coming together. Already the president has told us that we are seeing economic prosperity in the horizon. We are beginning to see greater coordination. In fact, the incidents of Oyo, the recent one, where these school children were abducted and then we strategically got them out, is an indication to all of us, to all Nigerians, and indeed the international community, that coordination is key.
The government spokesman says collaboration and unified national response to promote internet security is a priority that will be sustained by the Ministry of Information and all its agencies.
Recently, we saw the President of Chad coming to visit Mr. President to discuss regional security. Only recently also we have seen the commendation that we also got from the United States President about the effort that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing. Now, this goes to answer the thing that we said in the past. When Nigeria was being classified by the American government as a country of particular concern, the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu saw an opportunity rather than a problem.
Ongoing reforms across the security architecture, he insisted, are towards one goal, which is to keep Nigeria united and secure. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullah Higuanara, NTA News.
And now to electoral matters. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has briefed accredited national and international observers ahead of Saturday's August 15 governorship election in Osun State. Kayode Olajosun has the details.
Resident Electoral Commissioner in Osun State, Oluwatoyin Babalola, represented by the head of Department, Election and Party Monitoring, Joseph Okpatoki, reminded the observers of the significance of their role in the electoral process, encouraging them to respect the rules of the election, remain neutral, and report their findings accurately.
I want them to not be partisan, not to assume, not to deal with any politician, but to go there as a neutral body.
The job of observers is nothing but to observe, to take records of what has, and to document it for posterity's sake.
The international observers, the domestic observers on ground, to air what they see and report to the appropriate channel.
We are going to the field to observe how prepared the INEC and how coordinated are the political parties, and we only employ them to let us play the game according to the rules.
All the accredited national and international observers will monitor the election in all the 30 local government areas of the state. In Oshogbo, Kayode Oladoshu, NTA News.
And as political activities intensify ahead of Saturday's Osun governorship election, the Savannah Center for Diplomacy, Democracy and Development has raised concerns over developments capable of undermining the electoral process. Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa tells us more.
Political activities are generating public interest and concern among stakeholders in Osun State, as voters and other political actors count hours to the election day. The Savannah Center Council of the Wise has urged all stakeholders to uphold democratic principles and avoid actions capable of undermining the electoral process.
No human life should be lost in an election. This is unpatriotic and unacceptable in a democratic setting where the ultimate goal is to participate in the electoral process and to serve the people.
The council urged political parties and their supporters to play by the rules while calling on INEC and security agencies to prevent electoral violence and investigate reported offences. It also appealed to the people of Osun State to remain peaceful, resist provocation and vote freely, stressing that the outcome must reflect the will of the people. In Abuja, Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa, NTA News.
We'll take a break now. And still talking electoral matters, the Commandant General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ahmed Abubakar Audi, has paid an operational visit to Osun State to assess security preparedness and ensure seamless coordination during the forthcoming election. During the visit, the CG met with Governor Ademola Adeleke, reaffirming the Corps' commitment to ensuring a peaceful, fair and credible election. Governor Ademola Adeleke commended the Corps for its steadfast protection of critical national assets and infrastructure across the state. The CG also visited the INEC State headquarters, where he assured the Commission of full operational support and issued a stern warning to potential vandals. And the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, has raised concern over what it describes as disturbing cases of hate speech, inflammatory statements, threats of violence and voter intimidation ahead of the forthcoming elections in Osun State and the 2027 general election. At a press briefing in Abuja, Executive Secretary of the Commission, Tony Ojukwu, stressed the need for urgent action by relevant authorities to address statements capable of heightening tension and undermining peaceful participation in the electoral process. The NHRC specifically drew attention to divisive statements attributed to some Nigerians regarding the election in Osun State. The Commission urged all stakeholders to exercise restraint and promote messages that support peace, tolerance, and democratic participation.
Hate speech, incitement to violence, intimidation or dehumanizing rhetoric, and all forms of communication that threaten the dignity, security, and the right of individuals or communities. Accordingly, the Commission first calls on the public officials, public actors, candidates, and aspirants to exercise the highest level of responsibility in their public statements and political communication.
The Commission also called on political actors, religious leaders, supporters, and the media to avoid inflammatory rhetoric and respect the rights of all citizens as the country approaches the 2027 general election. Meanwhile, the Osun State government has declared tomorrow, Friday, 14th of August 2026, as public holiday to enable civil servants prepare for Saturday's governorship election. Kayode Oladosun has details of these and other events that culminated in the official end of campaigns today in Osun governorship election.
Governor Ademola Adeleke has declared Friday, 14th of August, as work-free to allow public service workers to participate in the Saturday governorship election. In a circular issued by the head of service, Elder Ayenleye Aino, the decision is to enable workers to embark on traveling where required ahead of Saturday's governorship election in Osun. Yega Africa has trained journalists and other election stakeholders on the management, verification, and transmission of election results. Meanwhile, campaigns by political parties end by midnight today as all attention shifts to election on Saturday.
30-something governors are already in the APC. We are waiting for Osun State. Are you ready to join? Yeah. Are you ready to vote? Yeah. Are you coming? Yeah. Not known for violence. APC is not known for trouble. So you need to vote on Saturday to bring Osun into the equation of national politics. We need a governor that understands the core values of the renewed hope agenda. By 15th of August 2026 is going to be the government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
In Oshogbo, Kayode Oladosun, NTA News.
Now let's bring you up to speed with other news as the federal government says it will strengthen partnerships to improve healthcare and support for vulnerable Nigerians, particularly persons living with disabilities. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pati, stated this when he visited Karmajigi community along Airport Road, Abuja, where he inspected the living conditions and healthcare needs of persons with disabilities, including the visually impaired. amputees, and people affected by polio and leprosy. The minister also acknowledges the intervention of the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who drew his attention to the community and its challenges. Professor Pate commends the Tulsi Chanrai Foundation for its effort in restoring sight to people affected by preventable blindness, noting that some beneficiaries have undergone successful surgery and regained their vision for the first time. He says the federal government would engage the FCT administration on education and primary healthcare needs in the community, while exploring ways to expand health insurance coverage for vulnerable persons with disabilities.
In the efforts that we're making, every life counts. We work very closely with the government, and this particular camp where we are conducting now has been a very important camp because most of this community, this is a disabled community.
And in Maiduguri, the Minister of Regional Development, Abubakar Momo, is assuring Nigerians that the federal government will continue to implement programs that improve the quality of life, particularly for those at the grassroots, in line with President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. He stated this while inspecting critical projects being executed by the North-East Development Commission, NEDC, in Maiduguri and Kadamari community in Jere local government area of Borno State. Abubakar Musa reports.
The multi-billion naira projects of the North-East Development Commission inspected by Nigeria's Minister of Regional Development Abubakar Momo comprised Jere Bowl Network, electric vehicles and charging infrastructure at the University of Maiduguri, as well as the NEDC head office complex under construction, among other developmental strides. The minister says the NEDC e-vehicles mini assembly plant is a strategic component designed to support local assembly, build technical capacity, create employment opportunities for young people, encourage technology transfer in the Northeast region. Momo maintained that the projects are aimed at contributing to a cleaner and more sustainable environment, among other benefits. During a stopover at Jere Local Government Secretariat in Kadamari community, chairperson of Jere Council Inna Biladima and traditional leaders, while receiving the minister, acknowledged federal government's intervention to the Northeast region, saying it will fast-track ongoing rebuilding and resettlement efforts due to years of Boko Haram insurgency.
We believe it is important for us to come here and see for ourselves the progress that has been made by the North-East Development Commission from last year to date.
Inspection of the projects by the minister reflects commitment of the NEDC, the project team, engineers, contractors, and other stakeholders to delivering the projects in accordance with the required standards. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
Nigeria's tax system is being repositioned from a revenue collection machine into a more balanced partnership between the state and the taxpayer. At stakeholder engagement in Abuja, the Chief Executive and Tax Ombudsman, Dr. John Nwabweze, says fairness, transparency, and access to redress must now sit at the heart of tax administration, as the office expands digital complaint channels, prepares zonal offices, and moves to introduce a taxpayer bill of rights and obligations. Musa Abubakar reports.
Nigeria's tax conversation is shifting from collecting more to building trust. At a stakeholder engagement in Abuja, the Office of the Tax Ombudsman says a fairer tax system must make compliance easier, dispute quicker to resolve, and taxpayers more confident in the process. Chief Executive Dr. John Nwabweze says the office is using digital tools, including a case management portal and interactive contact center, while plans for zonal offices aim to take taxpayer protection closer to Nigerians.
We have developed a key initiative of a charter, also known as Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. The charter itself provides taxpayers with a clear understanding of their rights, responsibilities, and the standards of fairness, transparency, and accountability they should expect.
But the stakeholders say the system must go further.
We would want a simplification of the tax procedures.
Authorities or joint tax board need to come up with what we call API, application program interface, that we fintechs can plug into, that makes tax payment instantly.
And for taxpayers who feel shortchanged, the Ombudsman offers a channel for redress. The message from Abuja: collect revenue, yes, but build the trust that makes compliance sustainable. In Abuja, Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
And from tax matters, we join. Okay, my director said we continue. The chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Bubumawa, says the battle against drug trafficking and substance abuse is a generational responsibility, requiring resilience, intelligence, and collective action. He spoke in Abuja, where the agency honored outstanding officers, commands, CSOS, and media partners for their role in curbing drug abuse in the country. Salwa Kali Ibrahim reports.
Every day, drug cartels evolve and traffickers search for new routes to move destructive products. Yet, officers and men of the NDLEA remain resolute. And from communities fighting addiction to newsrooms telling difficult stories about trafficking, rehabilitation and recovery,
our partners in civil society and the media have been the multiplier effect on everything this agency does. You have taken our message into homes, schools, and communities that our uniforms alone could never reach.
At a ceremony, 274 personnel, 18 best performing commands, and 19 NGOs and media organizations were recognized for outstanding performance and commitment to the war against drug abuse advocacy.
We know that the menace of drugs in Nigeria now has passed across the gender in totality. The same gender as affected by men is what is affecting the women of today.
So this organization is also a boost to keep on pushing. We're not taking it lightly. We're also pushing ourselves to also make sure that the boys also hear this message.
As Nigeria confronts the changing face of drug trafficking and substance abuse, the message from the NDLEA is clear. The war may be long, but the resolve to fight it must be longer. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Indeed, it is a long walk. And now we join Adeola Kamiakere in our Lagos studio for more news on Network News tonight. Hello, how are you?
Thank you, Jumai, for joining us in Lagos. The 2026 Enactors National Competition, which brings together university students from across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country to showcase innovative projects aimed at addressing some of Nigeria's pressing socio-economic challenges, has also recognized deserving persons and organizations. Diana Ajala reports that at the end of the keen contest, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria emerged the overall winner, while University of Calabar came second place.
The annual competition by Enactors Nigeria provides an avenue for students to apply entrepreneurial skills to real-life challenges, with participating teams developing solutions in areas including agriculture, healthcare, environmental sustainability, and economic empowerment. With more than 1,000 students from 32 tertiary institutions in Nigeria exhibiting their projects, after critical evaluation based on their innovative approach, winners emerged from the 3 categories, including Early Stage, Julius Berger Innovation Challenge, and the Enactors Nigeria National Competition Awards, with Ahmadu Bello University Zaria as the overall winner, arising from their innovative solutions in Tompa, tomato powder and paste, as well as neem pest control liquid spray.
Beyond the usual fresh level of tomato, which is about 3 to 7 days, and our product lasts for months, more than 9 months. So that alone helps us to save the excess loss that our farmers in Nigeria lose.
An interlocking mold made from plastics, featuring our own innovative melting system, and today we are very, very excited we've been able to bring it to this competition.
Country Director, Enactors Nigeria, Michael Ajayi, commended the students for demonstrating creativity and commitment to solving community problems.
If properly inspired, motivated, and supported, the Nigerian youth can be extremely productive, very innovative, as well as globally competitive.
For more than 2 decades, Enatos Nigeria has demonstrated that when young people are equipped with the right mindset, mentorship, practical skills, capable of solving problems, industry exposure, relevant opportunities, and grant support, there will be catalysts for transformation. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
And that's a contribution from Lagos. The network news will continue with Juma in Abuja.
Thanks for joining us. Now, the August 4th, 2026 minor earth tremor experienced in parts of the Federal Capital Territory is an occasional seismic movement and not a threat. Director General of the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency, Professor Segun Ige, while presenting the agency's findings following the directive by the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dede Alake. However, says more seismic monitoring stations are needed for effective coordination. Mayor Ogidi reports.
Sitting on 7,315 square kilometers of rocky land, Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory with great aesthetic appeal, but beyond this amazing view lies a scaring occasional seismic movement. Though not frequent, minor earth tremors do occur in the Federal Capital Territory, and the most recent was on the 4th of August 2026. And the Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, in a press statement on the 5th of August, says no cause for alarm. Here, the Director General of the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency, Professor Segun Ige, is done with his findings on the August 4th FCT tremor.
NGSA continue to monitor the meter for over 5 days after the event. And throughout the period of observation and thorough monitoring, all the records of the wavefront signals generated by the seismogram shows a baseline noise which indicates that the tremor had died down completely.
Nigeria is not located in a major global seismic zone, yet such threat from earth tremors are important for scientific and safety considerations. Mayor Ogidi, NT News.
The Kano state government is taking necessary measures to curb the development of unplanned layouts and unprofessional land management practices. Governor Abu Kabir Yusuf disclosed this while presenting land allocation documents to 1,000 youths drawn from the 44 local government areas of the state. Abdullahi Mustafa has the details.
In 2023, Governor Abu Kabir Yusuf signed an executive order banning illegal land allocation and the development of layouts around public schools and hospitals. The order also prohibits individuals from developing new layouts without official approval. The decision was taken as the state government embarked on the massive development of new layouts to ensure proper development control and create opportunities for citizens to own homes. It was in these layouts that plots of land were allocated to 1,000 youth drawn from the 44 local government areas of the state. Governor Abu Kabir Yusuf, who was represented by the Secretary to the State Government Umar Farooq Ibrahim, noted that the initiative is also part of strategies to bridge the housing deficit and create opportunities for young men and women.
A government that truly desires sustainable development must deliberately invest in young people by creating opportunities for them to own assets.
These are government-approved layouts, professionally planned by experts, and every layout has been carefully designed with proper road networks.
Beneficiaries expressed appreciation to Governor Yusuf for the initiative, describing it as an opportunity that will provide young people with foundation for future investments. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NITCAM, in collaboration with major national and international stakeholders, has brought together investors, government officials, the Nigerian diaspora in Toronto for the inaugural Nigeria Diaspora Investment Economic Conference. Deborah Wagbo reports that the conference is championed by NITCOM chairman Abike Dabiri Erewa and led by the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila.
The first edition of the conference taking place in downtown Toronto, bringing together government and business leaders under one roof to make the case for Nigeria as an investment destination. Chairman NITCOM Abike Dabiri Erewa said the conference was an opportunity to deepen engagement with Nigerians living abroad and attract more capital and expertise into the country.
The door to Nigeria is open. Nigeria is open for business. The opportunity is now. Let's build together. And like I said again, don't just succeed in Canada, succeed for Nigeria.
I'm happy to say that we are now making conscious effort to make sure we bring back those values, where our industries can thrive, where we can train our people, where we can create job opportunities.
We do not ask you to invest in Nigeria only because Nigeria is home. We invite you to invest because Nigeria offers a compelling business proposition.
To power the new Africa, that will power the new Nigeria on a sustainable basis.
As the conference continues, the challenge will be to turn the promise of a Nigeria ready for business into tangible deals, jobs, and long-term economic growth. Deborah Balagbobo, NTA News.
And teachers in Sangaya schools in Gombe State have passed a vote of confidence in the Inua Yahya administration, citing appreciable success in the integration of the Almajiri informal system into the conventional system of education in the state. Emmanuel Akila reports that this was during a meeting to declare their support for the state government over what they termed inclusive transformation in the state's education sector.
Worried by the number of out-of-school children in Gombe State, Governor Muhammad Inua Yahya began the process that would reverse the trend in 2019. This led to the construction of schools with skills acquisition centers for Almajiri children in the 11 local government areas of the state. Encouraged by the development, an amalgamation of Tsangaya school teachers convened a meeting to appreciate the state government and express their support for the All Progressives Congress APC governorship candidate.
We are here purposely to show our appreciation for the support given to the Almajiri and the Tsangaya system of education.
We have many things that BESDA program and Alhaji Muhammad Inua Yahya with the Professor Abdullah Baffa Garkuwa did to our Tsangaya.
The state government assures of its commitment to the all-round development of education in the state.
A combination of both the Islamic and the conventional education are being passed. So this is real transformation of the education sector that you're seeing, and a true appreciation from the beneficiaries of this wonderful achievement.
From 2019 to 2023, we were able to take around 350,000. But then within these 3 years, both in those in non-formal sector and those that we improved their literacy.
The clerics recite verses of the glorious Quran and pray for the government to succeed in the execution of its policies and programs. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
We'll take another break. The news continue. You're watching NTA Network News, and Sports Update with Terwase is up next.
Let's begin with football. The Super Falcons of Nigeria are currently facing South Africa in the playoffs for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil. The game, which is on the sidelines of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, will decide Africa's second representative to the playoffs, after Ghana recorded a 2-1 comeback win against Cote d'Ivoire to take the first ticket earlier on Thursday. The last time we checked, the match was in a goalless situation, and that's at half-time. Now, the 10th edition of the Aminu Al Farouk Basketball Camp got underway at the Mo Arena in Abuja on Thursday, continuing its mission of discovering, mentoring, and nurturing young players with the potential to excel in the game. The 2026 event features an innovative basketball combined format, officially replacing the traditional camp, a structure that has been on the staple of programs since it started. The first leg held in Ibadan from August 7 to 9, 2026, featuring 150 students, athletes, with the Abuja Elite Invitational combined structure, featuring 30 of Nigeria's top young male basketball prospects from age 14 to 18, drawn from Abuja and its environs.
This is a revolution going on in basketball.
Most Nigerian parents are not too fond of sports or anything outside of just education. So I wanted to be that reason, you know what I mean, reason that parents believe that sports is an option for their kids as well.
It's been a dream of mine to be in a place where I'm on the spotlight. And by the grace of God and by our Farouk Amir's opportunity.
And now to beach soccer. Nigeria are champions of the 2026 African Under-18 Beach Volleyball Development Cup after the duo of Joy Lawrence and Ifechukwu Odo defeated host Senegal in a straight set 2-0 to clinch the title on Thursday. Nigeria dominated from the start, winning the first set 21-18 before sealing the championship with a 21-10 victory in the second. Coach John E. Werriman praised the players' resilience, while Nigerian Volleyball Federation President Musa Nimro said the triumph highlights a bright future for beach volleyball in Nigeria. And as much we can take in Sports Desk. It's back to you, Jume.
Thank you so much, Terwase. And it was a solemn moment for family, friends, and colleagues of late Agatha Obiora and Assistant Director News of NTA Sports as they gathered at the Holy Trinity Church, Maitama, for a requiem mass and service of songs to bid her farewell. Tessie Omeri covered the mass and now reports.
Life is indeed transient. Agatha Obiora, a jolly good fellow, a passionate broadcaster, and a beloved colleague, is no more. Reverend Father Moses Jimbili, while presiding over the Requiem Mass, describes death as inevitable, calling on Christians to always live a righteous life. The atmosphere was laden with a mix of grief and gratitude as tributes poured in for a woman remembered for her warmth, dedication, and love for broadcasting.
She was like a mother in my family. She was the pillar of our family.
A best friend, like whenever we had an issue, that was the first person that we were going to go to. She was a solution provider.
Colleagues of late Agatha would always remember her for the energy and zeal she brought to bear in every task and assignment.
As she worked, she left an imprint of her professionalism.
I can say that I'm the last to see Madam Agatha, because I was the one that told her that evening, Madam, go, you are looking too tired.
Professionally, she's good. And as a person, she's such a nice and wonderful human being.
When she heard KV, she turned the place around, generated revenue for NTA.
The NTA family says they have lost a star, but her legacy will live on. She will be laid to rest in Kefi, Nasarawa State, this Friday. In Abuja, Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
We are so rest in peace. And now to our survey results. Tonight's question was, who do you think should bear the most responsibility for voter education in Nigeria? 50% of tonight's respondents picked INEC, while 26.9% went with the media. Another 21.2% of tonight's respondents voted for political parties, as against 1.9% that went with civil society organizations. And that's Network News for tonight. Thanks so much for your time. On behalf of the production crew, I am Jumwei Yusuf.